Hello, everybody. I'm live and in person. So it is my last day here in the Pyrenees. Tomorrow I head home. So I wanted to stick to my guns and do a final practice with you all live from here. Now, I've had one hell of a day. and so I thought I would do a practice for when you don't feel like practicing. So if you want to come down and join me on your mat, we'll start on the back. So, sometimes there are days you just want to wallow in whatever experiences you've had that have been really fun. And sometimes you're just tired, you don't feel like doing any yoga, but you know, as soon as you get on your mat and you start moving, you're going to feel better. So that's what really this practice is about. So starting on the back, just constructive rest, knees bent, feet maybe a little wider than hip width. Relax your legs, let them fall together towards each other, or at least rest so you're not holding them up. And this posture all by itself does so much if we give it time. It helps to release all of the postural muscles. It helps soften the psoas, which holds a lot of the emotions that would make us not want to do yoga. So just breathe, and as you rest, allow your belly to soften with every exhalation. And then because this is I don't feel like it yoga, you can say, I don't feel like it, and you can do something else. And it's nice sometimes just to take a moment to lie on the floor and feel the ground. You don't have to do anything. And I'm just tuning into my feet and noticing that not all my toes are really connected to the earth. So I'm just going to spread my toes a little bit and then root them into the ground and relax again. And start to take some maybe deeper breaths and just notice how my back body feels as I breathe in. What do I feel push into the ground? As I exhale, what do I feel release and soften? And then go ahead and extend your legs one at a time if you want to. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. And just play around with your ankles and your wrists. So making circles, kind of pushing in, down, different ways. And if a yawn comes, woohoo! So just kind of squeezing, tightening different parts, muscles of the body, and releasing. Tense release. And then let go. And now let's just work with the legs a little bit. So if it would feel good for you, just let your legs kind of roll out to the side. So the toes are kind of pointing right and left here. You're a little open at the hips. There's a little external rotation. And let's just start with the left leg. Just bend the knee and drag the heel along the floor. So taking the heel towards the groin, just as far as is comfortable, and then just kind of hang out there. And notice what wants to happen through the hips. There's nothing you really need to do or try to fix. If the right hip kind of pulls off the floor a little bit, that's perfectly fine. And then just soften through that whole inner thigh and groin area. I know I probably have the yawniest yoga channel on YouTube. Now go ahead and roll through the foot to bring the knee back up to standing, and then extend that leg long. So we'll go to the other side, bending the right knee, drawing the heel towards the groin as far as is comfortable, and then rest there. Oop, got a cramp in my hamstring. Breathing, softening through the groin, in the front of the thigh. So sometimes our plans just don't go according to plan. Have you ever noticed that, or is it just me? And we just have to let go of those plans, not push. Maybe there's disappointment, but that has to be accepted as well. Rolling through the foot now to bring the knee up to standing, and then extending that leg out. So now let's roll both feet out, externally rotate the hips, draw both heels up toward the groin, soles of the feet together, and rest here in Cobbler's pose. And again, this is, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. So anyway, I was talking about a breakdown of plans and how fun that is. Har har. And that I don't know, it doesn't matter in the end, does it? It's like this temporary little blip in a dream of our life. And we don't always know the reasons why things don't happen the way we had wanted or hoped. Okay, go ahead and roll through the feet or use your hands to draw your knees back up to standing, and just take a moment in the constructive rest again. So if we have faith in something a little more intelligent and greater than ourselves, it's a little easier to let go of things not happening the way we anticipated or hoped. Okay, go ahead and roll onto one side of your body. If you need a block or something to pillow to rest your head on so that you're comfortable on your side. And then just laying here. And there's nothing, again, you have to do. This can be enough. Can be restorative. This can be relaxing. But I think I want to stretch my top leg. So I'm going to just kind of grab hold of my toes here, my toe, and extend my leg. You don't have to straighten your leg if you're doing this with me. And I'm not quite on my side. I'm kind of opening up slightly to the back, but I'm not rolling all the way to the back. So I'm still on the downside hip. Goodness. Noise going on out there. So I just had a really nice letting go through the back of my hip on this extended leg side. And I didn't do anything, it just did itself. And so if you can, keep hold of your toes and draw your foot back in. Grab hold of the underside of the foot if you can. So you'll have to draw the knee quite up close to the armpit if that's accessible to you. If not, you could always hold somewhere else on the leg. But what I'd like you to do is take your knee through your arm so that the knee comes forward of the arm. So just kind of going back and forth there. So if you're here, just playing around a little bit with the hip rotation, if that feels good. Again, this is, if you don't feel like doing it, yoga, don't do it. And then if you would like to just transition into a quad stretch. Sometimes I tell my students 10% effort is enough. It's not generally the way we think in life. We think we have to give it our all, and in some situations that may be true. But in I don't feel like it yoga, you can give 10%. And isn't it nice to have permission to do that? Okay, I'm going to let go of that foot and just draw it back to meet the other. And then you can just roll to your other side. I'm going to flip around so I can still face camera. Starting squared off with head support. And just relaxing here a moment on this side, just noticing how that feels. And I'm going to grab my toesies and extend my leg. It's actually a lot easier on this side for some reason. And I might as well take this opportunity to say that yoga teachers are people too. And we go through the same things that every other human being does. And we still struggle with certain aspects of life, and yoga is the go-to to help us cope with those things, help us find new ways of dealing with things, and recentering ourselves. And then taking that knee in front of the arm and in back of the arm. And then into the quad stretch if you want that. I know I'm not exactly giving tips here on form and that sort of thing. You know, you can kind of tilt your pelvis forward slightly to get a little more intensity through the thigh. Try to keep your leg level with the hip as opposed to up. And anything else? Not that I can think of at the moment. And again, remember the 10% effort, so you're not overexerting. You don't even need to go to your edge. Okay, and then releasing and drawing the knees together. Take a moment there. And then I'm going to come onto my belly. And you can join me if you want to. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. So I'm just going to prep as if I was going to come into a Cobra, spreading my hands out at about the height or a little higher than my shoulders. And then I'm not going to do anything because I don't feel like it. I'm just going to feel the weight of my body. Kind of roll on my thighs a little bit, back and forth. Maybe even extend through one leg by bending my toes back and reaching with the heel. And then the other side. And just kind of imagining I'm doing a Cobra. Pushing myself up. I'm going to turn my head to the other side and do another imaginary Cobra. And now that my body is really softened here, now I can do a Cobra, but in a different way than I would have a moment ago. It would have been a lot of effort. Now my body's softened. I can really feel my ribs on the floor. I can really feel the front of my hips, the pelvis, tops of my feet. So I'm going to reach away with my legs first, and then draw my forehead to the ground. I'm going to exhale and feel the ribs connecting to the ground as I exhale. And use that to create some space between my hands and shoulders as my shoulders kind of lift back. Softening the back of the neck. And then on the next exhalation, I'll go ahead and come up. Tucking my elbows in. Letting my pelvis, pubic bone in particular, fall back towards the floor. Legs heavy, hands heavy. And rolling back. Oh, that felt really good. I hope you liked that. And if you didn't, that's okay. And I think maybe a nice child's pose of some kind, if you can make it there. I'm kind of stuck, but I'm thinking about child's pose. Here I go. So I'm going to have my knees together. You know, there are a lot of different variations to child's pose, including kind of a puppy pose variation of being on your forearms. So feel free to do whatever you want. I'm just going to come back towards my knees and let my arms just kind of drape around my body. Clunk. Just a little rocking side to side. You know, it's interesting. In Kundalini Yoga, they call this baby pose. But of course, in Hatha, baby pose is on the back with the knees bent. So it gets a little confusing if you practice more than one style.
So from here, I'm going to allow my knees to draw as if away from each other and use that as the impetus to roll up through the body to come sitting on the heels.
And then coming onto the knees, if that's comfortable for you. There goes my head. I am now the headless yoga teacher. So I'm going to extend one leg out to the side, toes pointing forward. Hands on hips. I'll let this hip on the extended leg side come back down so that you're not kind of angled off to the side. And then just reach the other arm up into the sky and lengthen through that side of the body, really rooting down through the knee. And even though you can't see it because I'm waving madly at you, reaching up with the fingertips toward the sky. And then if you'd like to take that over slightly towards the straight leg, you can get a little deeper there. Try to make sure you're not poking your ribs out, but bringing them back, having everything back right under your supporting leg. Or I should say right over your supporting leg. And I'm just going to let the arm come around in a circle a couple times, because I know that will feel good. And if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. And then go to the other side when you're ready. Even out your hips. Reaching your arms straight up, rooting through the supporting knee. Taking your whole upper body right over your supporting leg. And some circles with the arm if you would like. And then coming back with the knees sitting on the heels, or an easy pose if you prefer, whatever's more comfortable for you. So let's just take a moment here in whatever seated posture you prefer. And just notice how you feel after having done that practice you didn't want to do. I feel a lot better in my body physically. I hope you do too. That's the payoff of yoga, you know, even when you don't want to do it. If you just get down and do it, it can make a huge difference to how you feel. So if you'd like to take a Shavasana, go ahead and lie on your back. I'm going to leave you to that. It is a good idea. I am going to be going to bed soon, so I don't think I want to do it just now. But you're welcome to. And this is all about not doing what I don't want to do and what you don't want to do. So thank you for sharing my practice with me today. I know this was kind of a strange one. I hope it served you. Take care, and I will see you from my usual location starting next week. Thank you. Namaste. End weird stream.